Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video I wanted to talk about the healing runes and the overall healing issue in this game. So as you may know, there exists healing runes. Not a lot of people know this or run this, but they do exist. And what they do is when equipped by divine or demon heroes, increase its own heal rate by 60% in battle, and at 4 runes, so this was effect for only 2, and at 4 runes when equipped by divine heroes instantly restore 20% of own max HP every round. This happens at the beginning of the battle, which I consider to be pretty useless. I do wish it was in the midst of the battle, because then it would have some uses. Because it happens at the end of the round, or basically at the beginning of another, the likelihood of you already being executed by the enemy Phoenix, Hades, Valiantor's passive, Judgment Blades, or anything with an execute are pretty much high, so healing at the beginning of the round is pretty useless in this case. Where are the cases that you run the healing runes? Well, I run them in the healing conversion heroes rune. So when Catherine receives healing, she will also heal all allies for 50% HP. 8% of the excess healing will be converted into attack. The total converted amount is actually capped, so unfortunately this doesn't really matter much. This was the case of all the states when the healing wasn't as common, and it wasn't as strong because the attack wasn't as high. These runes I actually think are pretty much incorrect now on Catherine, and I do believe that you should be running attack runes on her to increase furthermore the cap on the attack healing conversion. But I'm a bit lazy to reroll, but this was just an example. Another hero, or most heroes people use healing on, are the Dooms or the Invincible heroes. For example, the Sorijan Ayushta. She has invincibility for 3 rounds, so people tend to use the healing on her. The reason why is because you have healing in the Doom synergy. So each time allies takes damage, they have 50% chance to restore HP equal to 30% of the damage taken. This already covers pretty much everything in your damage taken, or your HP will be pretty much full. On top of that, you also run 2 deviants in every single team. That's a mandatory, that's an unwritten rule. You run 2 deviants in every single team. You want those holy shields, you want the attack increase, you want the leech rate. The leech rate, even at 15%, already heals your hero to full. Even if you don't believe it, it happens, because the damage they do is so high, the HP they have is pretty small compared to the damage they deal. So they will pretty much always heal themselves to the full, even if they have invincible, so they can't take any more damage. They are at 1 HP, they will pretty much fill the HP bar to the full. The same goes for the Victoria. Victoria's runes, so Victoria gains 20% leech rate permanently, triggering invincibility increases leech to 200%. This is useless, because as I said, the 20% she gains is already enough to pretty much boost her fully to the max. Now, you could actually run Victoria with attack runes, but I do personally love dodge on everything, because it just feels so safe when a hero dodges an ability. You pretty much are guaranteed another chance at fight. So also Holy Shields block instances of damages, although they can be countered. So yeah, another hero you often use with healing runes is Audrey. The same reasoning goes for the Catherine, so she converts the healing into the attack, but unfortunately the attack is capped, so therefore you can't really increase her attack a lot, so therefore you shouldn't be really running healing runes on her. Instead, you should be running DPS runes to increase the cap, or actually her cap is even converted to 100 million flat, so it's not even percentage like Catherine, so actually her rune should be just dodge nonetheless. And there's plenty of heroes that convert healing into attack but is capped, so therefore the healing is pretty useless on them. Even though they kind of like want it, they don't really need it. As I said, the 2 deviants from pretty much anywhere are good enough to basically restore a hero to fully HP. Another case of heroes healing is Mystifars. Mystifars have their own synergy which heals them at the beginning of every round, so same goes for the Dooms and Mystifars, they don't need healing runes. Another case with Valiantors. Valiantors also heal them after a kill. They're a pretty bursty synergy, they rely on killing enemies, and at 7 Valiantors, whenever an ally scores a kill, restore 100% HP. So as you can see, another synergy that pretty much heals themselves fully, and their damage is so big that the deviants actually carry them. Therefore, having healing runes on them is pretty irrelevant. There was a time where Odin could have been run on healing, but even then it was still better to run Odin on the dodge, and that knight as well is in my opinion best on the dodge runes. Ethereals, well, Ethereals don't have healing in their Ethereal's passive synergy, but they do have healing in their Karnak, so you can deploy Karnak. Karnak will heal your allies for the damage done, basically scaling from his attack. Then you have Venus, which also heals the allies from the crits that they're doing. So yeah, overall, even in most cases in ethereal teams, you will have either Venus or Karnak for the heals to carry you, so you don't even need healing in there. And on top of that, no hero in the ethereals even needs heals, because they all just want to survive as long as possible with dodge runes to deal as much damage as possible. On top of that, they could run attack runes. I do have Eudora still on attack from the previous times, and rerolling a Supreme rune kind of feels criminal, so they will forever pretty much stay the DPS runes. Although if I was playing again, I would get them to the dodge. Glorians are pretty much the only team that don't have healing built in, whether the heroes or built in the synergy, but they do have kind of a shared heals from Audrey, so Audrey shares the healing to the entire team. Then we have the healing from the twins. If you still run them, they're pretty good, but majority of that comes from Sarah. So Sarah, nobody runs under, but the good part about Glorians, despite them not having their own heals, is they run in other synergies. So even if they don't heal themselves, the other synergy pretty much will. So majority of the Glorians are just spread out within the other synergies most often the times. And if they're not, then you will kind of want Audrey with the healing runes, because you want her to share the healing to the team. But apart from that, nobody else really should be run on healing, apart from perhaps Yorm, because of her, again, invincibility, but then again, you have the two deviants to heal her up. So therefore, even then, it's not really a correct case to run the healing on them. Avengers pretty much die and just deal damage, but they have healing from the Primordial Ardina, they have healing from Yingzhen, from the Hecate, so they don't really need healing, and they don't necessarily want the healing, because they will just simply die and kill enemies by dying instead of staying alive. If they stay alive, that's even better, but obviously you don't really care about that. Every pretty much Avenger should be on dodge runes, bar none, every single one of them. The Dooms, as I covered, are pretty much covered with the Babylon, they are covered with the Deviants, they're covered with their own synergy, and yeah, overall don't really need heals, they are pretty much sustainable even without them, and Babylon carries with her heals the entire team pretty much alone. So yeah, that's the issue with the healing runes, and I will try to pretty much showcase this, let's say in this stage right here. So here's a two-man team with one deviant, so basically Sorijan and Yushta. Both of these heroes have immortality, so they shouldn't be dying unless I get unlucky from the Heart of the Demon, because Heart of the Demon can execute enemies through the immortality. But I will just try to showcase how irrelevant the healing is. So I have the 4 Dooms, which I also have the chance to increase my own healing upon taking the damage. But right now, as you can see, I have healed up from the Doom synergy right there, and I'm taking the damage, and I will probably die to the execute. No, I actually won't die to the Heart of the Demon, which is nice. So as you can see, my hero is pretty much invincible. Unfortunately, I do get stunned, so maybe I have to replay this battle with stun debuff, or rather the stun immunity. So let's see whether I can get the action to show the healings actually doing their own thing from the leech rate. But as you can see, my heroes are at 0 HP pretty much, and they're just sinking the damage, taking the damage, until I get to do my own action, which should happen from Victoria, I hope, because she's not stunned yet. Okay, so Heart of the Demon actually did execute me, so yeah, this is how our Heart of the Demon works. So this time around, I did bring twins to get the 3 Glorians from my Victoria's X, and I don't have the Doom healing anymore upon taking action, or rather upon taking damage. So I shouldn't be getting healed from taking damage, but I should still be able to get my action off despite being at 1 HP or rather in the execute range. So hopefully I don't get cursed by the Heart of the Demon again to basically die before that. but we will see right after Pandora does her infinite actions. Oh, here we go. So she ults and she executes herself on the reflect. Nice. Well, the healing rune wouldn't have saved her in here, so that's another thing. But yeah, let's see whether I can get Victoria to deal some damage before she dies. Unfortunately, a pretty terrible team to test against because of the Heart of the Demon. And here Victoria does the damage and she heals up. As you can see, insane amounts of the healing going on, so she didn't really need any healing runes right there. So yeah, overall, that's the issue with the healing runes I wanted to cover. She got sealed right here, Heart of the Demon also, so basically she dies, no invulnerability protects her. So this is how it will look in the PvE, where we don't have Heart of the Demon on us, so invincibility procs, and then our Ayushta does action. She heals up, and Victoria just dies because she doesn't have invincibility in the Old Force for the PvE, but here she does the action and she heals up fully. So this is how it will look like going from this round and moving forward. My hero will keep on dying to another things like corrode or something, but so yeah, as you can see, the healing is pretty much 457 million. The damage tanked is a lot because of the invincibility, but nonetheless the healing is pretty much there with the damage taken. So the Ayushta takes damage, she's basically about to die. She does her basic attack, which doesn't heal her fully, but now when she does her skill, which is pretty much always in the PvP because of so many ultimate spammers, she heals the full, which is not issue in the PvP at all, and therefore the healing runes will do more you trouble than the dodge runes ever. So yeah, that's the rant about healing runes. I do hope they kind of rework them or make healing a bit relevant again. But with the newest heroes basically reducing the healing totally, I don't think that's going to be the case. So yeah, as I said, most of the heroes will not need the healing runes. You can go far better without them. And the dodge, especially if you dodge a massive ultimate like Babylon's, you dodge the stun, you dodge especially on corrode, so I don't think the heroes will apply corrode if the dodge happens. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, there's a lot of things to dodge and watch out for in the PvP than to heal up from. The damage is also so abnormally high that you won't really end up even receiving the healing from that. But overall, the conclusion on the healing runes is they're quite okayish. The reality of the runes in general is they're not all that too noticeable in my opinion. The difference between the DPS, dodge, healing or reflect runes is quite minimal, especially if they're on the correct set of the heroes. So for example, the dodge on the Avengers against like attack on the glass cannon such as Mystiverse wouldn't be really much of a difference because it's really strong regardless. And yeah, overall the conclusion on the healing runes is they're fine, but they're not necessarily needed. You will be far safer with something like dodge runes in like majority of the cases. Healing runes are pretty much only like whale category where you have so many stats that you can pretty much just survive for so long and tank the damage. But yeah, apart from that, you will just mostly run the dodge runes on pretty much everyone. Occasionally some DPS runes if you're a PvE player that is trying to beat like Extreme 100. And yeah, that's the conclusion. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you guys in the next one.